Hello, Laura J. Hamilton here, and welcome to the final video in this series. As a recap, in the first video, we dove into your mind and the subconscious beliefs that currently drive your behaviors. In the second video, we focused on your self-image as the elastic band on the expression of your potential. And in the last video, you experienced the process through which most of us close down aspects of ourselves and lose or gain self-esteem. Today, we'll analyze your perspective through the lens of self-awareness and how you can use it to improve your self-belief, self-image, and your self-esteem. Now, self-awareness is a huge topic, but the basic principle involves expanding your perspective to notice things you previously overlooked, or that once took you longer to recognize were pulling you backwards. Instead of crawling into the ditch with the issue or hang-up, it's about recognizing how much that situation, person, or experience bothers you before it takes over your day. In order to be aware of something, you must first become aware of it. And in this video, we're going to break down the base levels of awareness so you can up-level your internal state faster. Oprah Winfrey said, "Align your personality with your purpose and no one can touch you." And if you truly focus on aligning your values with your giftedness and passion, you will experience an integrity that calls your power back into this most powerful present moment, the true power base of all creativity. Self-awareness requires you know what you will and will not stand for, so you can take a stand for what you know is right despite your fear of the repercussions of your choices. Calling back your soul fragments into the present moment by making choices that don't leave you feeling divided between the regrets of the past or fears of the future. When you go against what you know is best, you betray yourself. You take all of your hard work and lock it away in a room that doesn't feel clean, so even your win begins to feel dirty over time. Even though you got what you wanted, it becomes something you don't want to talk about because you're ashamed of the corridor that leads to your trophy room. This is because with every act of self-betrayal, no matter how big or small, you leave part of yourself there with it, and send another aspect of yourself scouting into the future to predict all the possible consequences that choice may bring up for you. You leave the present moment and spread yourself between the past and the future, placing all of your power outside of your control. If you were to imagine self-awareness as a high-rise building, as Carolyn Mace teaches, the building never moves, but your perspective within it does. And the more aware you become, the further afield you can see the consequences of your choices reach. Survival level living would be like the bomb shelter of this high-rise, because you're buried by the dramas and traumas of your world. You can't see very much or very far. Your quarters are cramped. You live under the fear of imminent attack, and the resources you have on hand are all you've got, so you're willing to fiercely protect them. At this level of awareness, you have very little concern for how the choices will impact anyone else because you just want to keep your head down until it seems safe to emerge from hiding. When you eventually do emerge from underground, the space you enter is the equivalent of a glass lobby with swarms of people walking all around you, and the noise and pollution from the streets outside feels overwhelming. Your view can only reach a short distance away from you because not only are you encased by other buildings, there are cars and trucks constantly driving past, and the windows have become cloudy and filmed up by the toxicity of victim consciousness. Parts of your windows at this level will be smudged and smeared where people have rubbed up against them, or cleared a patch to look inside, while other parts are cracked where flying debris has hit a weak spot and shattered this vulnerable barrier. This is where you'll meet playmates who will largely be other victims, rescuers, and persecutors, who will traipse through your lobby with dirty boots on, smoking cigarettes they'll carelessly toss to the floor while making a mess of everything they touch. They're volatile because they lack respect for themselves and everyone else around them as a result. They They lack awareness of how their choices are impacting you, and quite frankly, they don't have the awareness to care. And negative thoughts also leave dirty footprints in your subconscious. And the more often you repeat them, the muddier and harder to remove they become. Awareness allows you to separate the individual from their behavior. And you must recognize that hurting people hurt people. You're only prone to negative thinking when you don't feel good about yourself or the circumstances and experiences you encounter as a result. Self-awareness allows you to catch yourself hurting before you start taking your pain out on others, while being gentle with yourself as you go through this period of discomfort. As human beings, we're naturally driven by either pain or pleasure. And in time, the discomfort of this chaos will lead you to the nearest exit, sometimes back to the bomb shelter below, and other times to a new level of awareness. You will break through or you will break down, and you get to choose in that moment which option you're going to go with. The way to make sure you go up instead of down at this point is to recognize your ability to choose your response in any given moment. Each of your guests and the people walking around outside are all activating the closed doors in your inner kingdom that we went through in the last video, because that part of you is ready to be faced. If you react, acting the same way in the present moment as you have in the past, you will retract into your comfort zone. React, retract. But if you choose your creative capacity to choose a new response, you increase your self-awareness by activating new creative possibilities. Imagine an issue being pressed right up against your forehead because you're so involved in it. If you were to trace the perimeter of your head, it wouldn't take very long for your finger to be right back against your forehead again, right? That's exactly how lessons show up for us, and each time they show up, we have a choice to get down and dirty and play in the mud with them, or to choose in that moment to simply recognize it's there so you can touch it and go. Now, each time you respond that way, you move the issue slightly further away. So over time, it'll take longer for it to make its way back to the forefront of your awareness as quickly. And each time you acknowledge your feelings and let them go instead of reacting how you always did in the past, you gain a new perspective of the issue. You can see a lot more here than you can when it's right close to your forehead, right? The more you're able to distance yourself from drama by touching it and letting it go as soon as you realize you're getting down in the mud with it, the easier it becomes to see the opportunities for growth in challenging experiences. And the faster you'll be able to move yourself to a higher level of awareness with that issue. As you become more self-aware, you'll be called to make choices you know you'll be able to respect yourself for. And from that place, you will be able to make choices that empower rather than deflate you. As you become more self-aware, it will become easier for you to recognize when you've fallen into the trap of victimhood, so you can pull yourself out of it faster. While you will never rise above your problems altogether, the kind of problems you'll have change. You get to the place where your problems are such high-quality problems that people operating from a more limited perspective won't see it as a problem at all. The potential is available to you if you're willing to work on yourself to become the person who lives in the upper floors of this high-rise instead of on ground level. Just think of an apartment building and the comparative view between the first floor and the 10th floor. It's a completely different experience, and yet it's the same address. From the lower levels, your perspective is so engulfed by the physical reality you can see, hear, taste, touch, feel. It's possible you wouldn't even believe someone living in the penthouse if they shared what they could see from up there. Their tales would almost seem too good to be true, right? The fact is, there will always be someone who has blazed the trail before us. And when you find those people, pay attention to them. Listen to what they say and then critically analyze how their insights can work for you and whether they walk their talk. Remember the power of influence and consider who is traipsing through your inner kingdom, impacting the level you live at in the high rise of your awareness. And then love yourself enough to distribute invitations more wisely. Respect yourself enough to find people who respect you and believe in you, and start by respecting and believing in yourself. There is enough negativity in the world around us, so make your internal world as safe as possible. No matter where you are or what you've done, you can do, be, and have more if you're willing to hold the image of it for yourself and take daily action steps toward the achievement of it. In order to achieve self-actualization, you must be willing to make choices you can respect, choices that reflect your personal integrity. Focus on enhancing your self-esteem by severing the cords tying you to the past and bring your energy back into the present moment. For it is only when you are in the present moment that you can find the door to the next level. Support your expansion and unfoldment by connecting yourself to resources like these that will help you realize your potential is only limited by your beliefs and your thoughts about yourself and the world around you. Reminders that your potential is only limited by your willingness to imagine yourself living the life you desire. Reminders that your possibilities are controlled by your willingness to move out of victimhood with self-esteem and self-awareness. No matter how difficult it is, there is also no process that is as rewarding as becoming the highest version of yourself possible. I hope you receive significant value from this series and look forward to continuing to add value to you moving forward through my regular emails. I'd also love to hear your biggest takeaway and how you use the tips I've shared to become the best version of yourself possible. Be willing to brag so I can celebrate with you. And remember, anyone that achieves anything extraordinary was first called insane, different, and weird. Much love. Laura J. Namaste. The light in me honors, the light in you.